right, traders. All right, traders. Let's get this thing out of here. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So today is July 24th, 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, probably 5:30 Pacific. Welcome to Beyond Charts Morning Brew, covering the news and pre-market playbook. All right, let's get to it. So what's up, Josh? All right. So let's get to it, guys. So today the markets have turned. All right. So things I want to cover. There is not XPX, Russell, RUT, Russell 2000, general market rebalancing. So that's what we're seeing in the market. Just got off the phone with a couple of friends of mine on our morning, I guess, mastermind meeting or whatever over the oil markets, a bunch of hedge fund guys. But what they talked about, they brought it up to my attention, is that there is a rebalancing occurring, and that's why the market is going up at this moment of time. So basically, what I've heard is that they're selling off energy and buying growth. How long is this going to last? I have no idea, but that's what's happening right now. That's why the market is going up. So at this moment of time, what we're noticing, and this is exactly what we're noticing looking at our longer time frame. You don't need to see me, but let's just get to it, guys. Candle market go up today. Well, yeah, we've been talking about this all day long. What are we looking at right now on my screen? Right now on the screen, we're looking at the let me turn the camera off over here too. We're looking at the E minis, the E futures. Remember, guys, I only going to look at the E futures. They trade longer. They trade 24 hours. I'm going to trade SPY, XPX off the E mini futures. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. It just is going to give me better data, a better understanding what the overall market is doing. So what we noticed since last week, that potentially this could be the bottom. Why is that? Because the MACDs are coming to a squeeze. If this crosses in this time frame, which is a daily, and we're noticing that price is going higher day by day, the lows are getting higher. Each low is getting higher, and then we had to break 3,800. We had a hard time breaking above 3,800. The overnight session hit the 3,830. If you've been following my Patreon page, you know that I developed the market structure for the next day. And basically, I'll give it to you in scenarios and the key levels we got to look for. I also give you the market structure for the week. So what's activated this week is going to be market structure for the week. Follow that playbook to the upside. Okay, so right now we're noticing here, if this goes and the rebalance is real, this could potentially take the XPX 50 points up, and the flip side, it can take it 50 points down. Okay, normally, but we're noticing price action is going up. The overnight session on the E-minis here, if we look at overnight, you got to look at overnight. Overnight, this looks good. As far as this candlestick, it's a pretty bullish candlestick so far from the Asian markets. Let's see if we can continue that. But overnight session, if we start looking at 2200, which puts me right in this candlestick, the lows were 3810. So the Asian markets held it above 3800, and they closed it recently at 4 a.m., which is roughly right at this 3825. So about 25 points off the Asian markets. Now, what is the American market going to do? That's a key question. It is 8:34. So basically, we have about take away 6 minutes. We got about 54 candlesticks on this 1 minute time frame to see what that develops. We rallied up right now. What I would like to personally see, I wouldn't like this to go up anymore. I actually would like this to pull back a little bit and see if we can get a day two or some follow through to close that gap up above. And which gap are we talking about? We're going to talk about this gap here on the S&P 500. If we look at the S&P, this is NASDAQ and this is Russell. Basically, in the daily time frame is this gap right here of 3840, 38, and then closing the gap of 3890, or 3900. Okay, that's going to be the gap that I think if we can take out this 3844, then more than likely we can probably head up to 3,900 and fill in that gap. Also notice there's another gap up here, which is the 4,000 4,039.73 to about 4,017. And if we look to our right, we start noticing that the 50-day moving average is probably going to come down at some moment, probably going around 4,000. Can we go up? Absolutely, I believe so, depending on what the market flow has been telling me. Now, key things we got to worry about. Do not fall in love with the upside market. Do not fall in love. This is strictly going to be for a day or two. So far, we got into some calls yesterday around 50 cents. I think it was can't remember, after back. Those are going to pay us very, very well. So again, we've been playing the 390 calls all week, and we got into some other one. I think it was a 400s or 410s, 415s. I can't remember. I have to look at it. But those are the ones we're playing, and those are going to play as well. Why we're playing those is because this right here, it's everything I've been telling you about. The highs are getting lower in the daily time frame. So what does that tell me? I'm noticing from a wider bird's view, that the accumulation is starting. There is some buying. They're selling energy going into growth. They're buying the growth stocks. Okay, so we're noticing that, and this is the Russell rebalancing. Now, am I going to fall in love? Is this going to last? Don't know. I have no idea. All I know, if we start looking at the VIX is going down. So for the last couple of days, fear is going down. Now, if this is real, fear can probably go to the lows of what we had last week. Those are the extreme lows, and then let's see what happens there. Remember, we have GDP coming out on Wednesday. That's not probably going to fare well, and that's gross domestic product. Okay, that's not going to fare well, I don't believe, and I believe that we could sell off of that number. So it's better to go short the market when we're much higher than it is to go when it's much lower. So how does that mean? That means that if it starts going higher, we'll be prepared for some shorts here based on GDP on Wednesday. So far, today is Friday. We got Monday, Tuesday. Also, we also have the banks are going to come out, whether or not they're going to be able to buy back their stock or sell their stock. We don't know what they're going to do. But remember, if bank stocks go up, the S&P 500 will not go down. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's start figuring out some other key areas here. So as far as what I'm looking at right now, so far on the 1 minute time frame, if I had to guess, we're probably the lows here around 38.23. I would love for this thing to pull back a little bit, let it come back and see on the 15-minute time frame, and let's see if it can bounce here. Roughly, if it can bounce off of 38.20-ish, let's see if it can hold that area. Right now, the hourly MACD is telling me it needs to pull back a little bit. And then we'll reassess the situation there. But so far, if we look at the hourlies, if you notice, and you're trading our system, the Beyond Chart system, then you would know something. You would know that we broke the 50 about June 20th, right? Which coincides with what I told you about the highs are getting higher and the lows are getting higher as well. So what does that mean? We've been holding the 50 with a few breaks here and there, but we've been holding the 50, and that is very bullish. If you look at all the moving averages we also put in our system, they haven't really broken. And with the exception of this little shindig here, the two line on the MACDs have been above zero for a good potential time, which tells me bullish bias. All right, that's what we have here. What we're noticing here, Bitcoin should be rallying off of that information, which it is. Notice S&P up, Bitcoin up. Pretty darn simple. And then the same with Ethereum. It's a little bit slower, but that's what I'm noticing. And by the way, MicroStrategy up. Not bullish. And this is the monthlies on Bitcoin. Monthlies on that's more than likely. If you look at all your other coins, they're probably be up as well. Okay. Let's look at overall. These are the high volatile stocks that we always look at. As you can see, we've been ranging sideways. I've been saying this. That's why we played the 390 calls over and over. We've been playing them from $350 to about $455 for the last 3 days. Consistently, if you know what to look for. So we've been giving out the levels on my chat Patreon group. If you sometimes we're not getting, it's really hard to trade in a sideways consolidation, but you trade the levels. Russell rebalancing, positive, as you can tell, very positive. Google being bought, growth stock. You have Amazon being bought, right, back up to 113 from that squeeze. Still going, still find the same type of structure that the S&P 500 or E-minis are doing. Tesla stalled here a little second because Elon came out yesterday and said basically that, they're losing billions or millions of dollars on their Gigafactory due to supply chain issues. So Tesla stalled. Apple above 130, huge number above 130. Remember, 130 was our line in the sand for the markets to crater. Remember, the S&P will not crater if Apple cannot break 130. So it's better for Apple to go up, everything go up, and then they're going to sell it off. Remember, the sell's not going to come when everybody expects it. I'll repeat that again. The sell is not going to come when everybody expects it. Remember, we have to stop thinking like retail and start thinking like institutions. All right, CMG rallying up nicely. That will be one that I would love to get short, but not right now. Okay, so what are we looking at? The chips. We're looking at Land Research, Goldman Sachs. All right, Goldman Sachs has a number up here, and I'm going to talk about that because that's going to be detrimental to find out what type of day we are going to have. So we're going to put GS on our watch list and watch it today. But all in all, let's look at oil. Oil futures are down. Remember, 102. If oil goes below 100, don't know if it is, but if it does, and this is how we're going to know. On TradingView, guys, this is a beautiful feature. Right click, you're going to put add alert, and it's going to alert me in a loud way. So I'm away from my desk that if oil goes below 100, we're probably going XPX 4000. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. If oil goes below 100, XPX 4000. I don't mean today, maybe next week, maybe before GDP, and then let's see what happens there. Remember, we have some gaps to fill up there, and remember, the sell's not going to come when everyone expects it. And let me just go back into what I mean by that. The sell is not going to come when everyone expects it. Everyone is expecting it to buy. If you look at the put ratios, a lot of retail are buying puts, while institutions are buying stock and calls. All right, so just make a note of that. What else are we looking at here? Said we'll look at Goldman Sachs because I think we should be looking at that. Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has a number up here that we have to look. If Goldman Sachs right now, pre-market 283, if Goldman Sachs can hold 293, if it can get above 293 and hold, I think that the market will fare very well. But 293 is going to be that number. Right now, we're getting really close. Let's see if we can get that. As you know, I put my alert up there. All right. As far as spies, for example, you guys trades, guys, I strongly, you do what you want. If it's working for you, do it. What I would recommend is trade SPY off the E-minis, or look at the E-mini chart SPY, because this is going to give you much better data than the E-minis here. But right now, it looks like, if I were going to trade SPY, I will wait for a setup. I want to see this thing set up. Remember, I'm already in some calls. I might lock in some gains off the open. I'm going to see how much they're worth. But it's looking pretty good. Good job. We hit our number of 3830, right? As I said, all week long. We had 3,800 and then we had 3,830. I've been saying this since Sunday. Now we hit them. Now what's next? If we can hold above 3,830, then it's probably going to go up to about 3,850, 3,844 to be exact, and then probably see if we can go up to fill that gap up there. There's another level of 3,870 something. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then 3,900 is going to fill this gap that we said all week long that needed to fill. Nothing new. If you understood TA, you're probably looking at the same data, and we're just confirming each other's data. All right, guys. That's all we have, guys. Stay frosty. Stay frosty. Remember, make sure to identify the supply areas and demand areas. Like I said, I talked about this in my weekly Patreon group where we talked about the demand area and we identified the most recent demand and supply areas. As you can tell, this was the demand area. This is a monthly. Now, anything can happen here at 38.30. We have to watch that because we're right now trading right underneath that. So if this right here crosses, guys, this is what we have to look at. If this crosses right there, that is going to give me a fresh set of MACDs on the dailies. Or it can give me an exhaustion sell, and then we're right back down. But we're going to be looking at this trend line to break if that is the case. And remember, this is the daily, so give it the whole day to develop. But looking pretty good, guys. Go out there, go get it. Stay calm. Remember, only trade with what you can lose. Therefore, you don't freak out when you're in a trade if you start noticing pulling back. Remember, pulling backs are normal. If we start going back into the hours, as you can tell, this was still very bullish, and this was normal. Okay, so this is normal. Again, bullish pullback, bullish pullback, bullish pullback. But if you're going to freak out every time it pulls back, then you should probably maybe trade less so you don't freak out and it's not that big of a deal. But remember, you have to take your shots at the 50 if you wanted to. But anyway, just wanted to point that out. Guys, go out there, go get it. Pretty easy. I'll be notifying you guys what I'm doing. And that is it, guys. So I think I'm live on TradingView. TradingView, if you want to follow, can I check Sweeby? All right. Okay. What the hell's SWBI? Yeah, I can check Sweeby. We can definitely do that. Doing it on TradingView, guys. I'm streaming on TradingView as well as YouTube. All right, so look at Sweeby, which is Smith and Wesson. So if we look at Sweeby, yeah, I mean, it depends on what type of trader you are. We have a double bottom here. Potential growth stock going into it. We have an earnings play here, which is June 23rd. That's where the market is moving. And let's see. If you want to trade this long term, don't know your thing, I would look at 1592 for a long term perspective that I would see that institutions are buying. But more than likely, that seems to me like institutions are buying. I would like to see this above 1448 to see what happens. And then the MACD is going to cross. But right now, this is looking like pretty much like a basing pattern. Let's see if this holds. And again, you also have to remember that you got to watch the S&P 500 because the GDP is on Wednesday. If the market collapses on Wednesday based on those numbers, then everything else is going to go down. So if you want to add to this at this level, that's good for a long-term investment. I think I like it here at 1452 at 13. Let me go in a longer time frame here. Because I believe you're at, is it pre-COVID? No, pre-COVID. $4, $5. Okay. Potentially. Look at a weekly here. I like the weekly setup here. Definitely telling me some basing patterns, buying patterns right here at 13.11. Let's see if this can hold. And drive it up. All right, so looking pretty good. Monthlies, consolidation right at that 50, which is right around $13. Good time to add. Could go a little lower, but it's better than buying up here away from the 50. Looks pretty good. All right. As far as you're day trading this thing, if you're day trading this thing, Smith and Wesson on the hourlies. Let's look at the hours here. Hourlies. I like the setup here at 1344, 1425. How high can this thing go? It's probably going to consolidate or hit the pre-market highs of $15. Sold off. Might pull back here a little bit. Let's see around $14. See how it reacts there. and maybe if buyers start coming back in. All right, guys, that's what we have. How can you follow me? So basically, pretty simple, guys. You can follow me a couple of ways. I have a weekly outlook. You can follow me on Patreon. I give a lot of stuff on Patreon. The link is in my bio. I come out here every once in a while. But I wanted to kind of inform you that today is a Russell rebalance. That's more than likely why we're going up. You can also follow me on YouTube or follow me here. But if you want access to my exclusive material, you can follow me on Patreon. It's only $5 for about 4-5 weekly newsletters, and I'll give you everything that I have as far as as far as my weekly plays for long-term investing. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is it, A50. Keep it short and sweet because, we have to develop, do your mantras, do your meditation. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. Get ready. Get your calls and your puts ready on the screen that you're going to develop because there is going to be a mover, I believe. We have to hold this 38.30. Are we going to sell off? It looks like we're probably going to sell off this 38.30. Maybe I'll take a crack at those puts, maybe because it go down to about maybe a short-term squeeze. We'll see. Guys, in my chat, I'll let you guys know. Follow along and go out there, go get it. Stay green, guys, and stay frosty. Most important. All right, take.